install any apps. You just open the link and it works. But on the phone, probably it's different. But I haven't
On
tried.
phone, I want to install new app.
Uh-huh. Hello?
Hello.
Natasha, can you see us?
Yes, I can see you.
And you can hear everything, yes? The sound is good.
I can hear you.
Okay, great. So we are talking about how this link to this meeting works, because I didn't know that if you use your phone, you had to install some kind of app, because I use it in the browser
done.
and in the browser.
Yes, I did
So,
it.
Natasha,
It
will
was
you please
easy.
introduce yourself, because we have already introduced each other. I mean, ourselves to each other. So, can you say a few words about who you are and why you came today?
Okay. Well, I've got a diploma of a teacher of English, uh, and I'm a friend of Tanya, and I'm especially interested in just updating my English, especially communication skills, and that's why I'm here.
Okay, my question is to all of you is what kind of movies do you like in general? What is your favorite genre? What is your favorite type of movie? What type of movies do you like watching?
I like the Lord of the Rings,
So fantasy.
and something same, yes.
Okay.
And I am Igor, and I am come here to discuss this film because I watched it few hours before.
Okay, great. I personally like dramas with different subgenres like fantasy, also science fiction, sometimes comedy, but basically drama. And this is my favorite genre. What about the rest of you, girls?
I prefer comedy. I prefer detective.
Detective,
I like,
mysteries.
yes. I like romantic. It depends on my mood.
Sure.
Tanya, can I ask you for help? Боевик.
Action movies.
Well, on the one hand, I like you said previously, I like comedies, but sometimes I like to see action films.
Yes, I actually forgot about action. It's one of my favorite genres because I don't like just moody films where they think and feel. I like when something is happening. So yes, that's true also. Okay, so let's talk about this movie. When did you see it first? Was it just like Igor said, a couple of hours ago, or was it some time ago? And in what language did you see it?
I saw this film several years ago. I saw in Russian.
In Russian. What was your impression in general, just in one word, maybe? I liked it, I didn't like it. Something like that. I liked it. Okay. Igor, what about you?
I watched it today.
In English or in Russian?
I watched it in English, and it was my first English movie that I watched whole only in English because I I tried to watch the TV shows. I like comedy with lawyer jokes. So Boston Legal and Suits is my favorite films, but I watched only Boston Legal in English and not all this TV show. But one big film in English with some line with different characters. It was my first experience, and I like it. I don't understood everything, but I understood the main scene, main idea, and I really like it. And as I have experience with Boston Legal, when you hear English and movie in original, so I can hear, I can fix or notice some. I think I can notice more than if I watched it in Russian, but I understood that in Russian I everything all what everybody told and speak, but in English it was interesting.
What about you, Natasha?
I watched it yesterday in Russian. Actually, I've started to watch it in English, but I was there was lack of time. Uh, and well, I'd like to ask you maybe, or this is a question further. How to say it in English just um, to better take the words, the new words, and to master. Actually, not only to see the film, but to have something in your head.
Yeah, it's one of those questions that I was going to mention at the end of our today's discussion, so that it's not just pleasant, to watch a film, but it's useful from the point of view of the language. Yes, you have to do the so-called active listening, and we are going to mention several activities you can do to take something from the movie, not just to enjoy it. So let me share my screen again, because I started doing that and then I had to stop. And let's discuss some other questions. Just a second. Okay. So we discussed this question already. So the next one, was there anything that you especially liked about the film, or was there anything that you didn't like about the film? Was there somewhere a favorite part of the movie?
The end, the happy end.
Yeah, with movies like that, you can never.
Actually, I thought that it will be the end, that he died, and I was so moved, and actually it was a very good ending for him to be alive.
When I
And
was
it was interesting because just I didn't know you chose that film, but I read a biography of Keanu Reeves, and then when I saw that film, I understood what personal feelings, what personal experience of his life helped him to act like this.
I have no idea what you're talking about. I mean, it's probably a special topic, but I haven't read his biography. I don't know what happened to him, so it must be interesting, something interesting.
Does he have a girlfriend?
It was dramatic. It was dramatic because he lost his pregnant wife. There was a how to say it, автокатастрофа.
An accident.
An accident, yes. And they were going to marry and to have a child. And actually, there were some. This is the main thing, I think.
Okay. Igor, what about you? Was there something that you especially liked about the film?
I noticed that it was a big advertisement about USA post office, because in one place where nobody goes, only two person, you can put your letter, and in the second other person got its letter. So I think it was advertisement of post services in USA. The second one, it was about home, because this building, I don't understood how can in the middle of the house on the lake can rise a tree, because in the middle of this house was tree, and I thinking about how anybody can live in this home with tree, where maybe some sense or some I don't know, animals can can live with you with this tree. And after that, really interesting when you fixed and understood that both of them, live in different time. It
When did
was
you first understand this?
when I write describe of this film in Russian.
Okay, okay, okay.
Because I started I was watching, and I understood that I have to understood the main idea, and I read about this film on Wikipedia, and after that I understood more than before.
Well, the first time I was watching it, it was a long time ago, probably just after the film came out. And of course, I watched it in Russian at that time. I'm not even sure that I used the internet. Anyway, I didn't know anything about the film, and I remember watching it, and I was very sort of nervous. First of all, yes, this moment when you realize that there is this time gap between them. And the second one, like Natasha mentioned, that when you are sure that he's going to die and you are so worried, and I didn't want to keep watching because I was afraid of what's going to happen next. So sometimes I stop at this moment and stop watching the film. I mean, not this one, but sometimes it happens. What about you, Luda? Was there anything you liked or disliked about this film?
This moment where letter sent to postbox, and how she was удивлена.
Surprised. She was surprised.
Surprised when box closed.
And there was even this small handle that started moving. Remember that?
Yes.
Yeah, that was like, oh my God, what's happening? It's so weird. Yeah.
And then she read letter about dog.
What about the dog?
What about
paw prints?
Yes.
Paw prints. Prints from the paws, like legs. Yes. Yeah, it was interesting how the cause and effect sort of mixed together. Okay, so Volodymyr is joining us. Let's give him a second. Hello, Volodymyr. We can see you. Hello. Can you introduce yourself quickly?
Hello.
Hello, I'm Volodymyr.
How are you?
I'm fine.
Okay. We are in the middle of the discussion already, so you will have to join quickly and sort of jump in the middle. So the next question is, would you call this movie a chick flick melodrama? Chick flick, you know the expression, right? Or should I explain it? Chick flick?
Explain it.
Okay, chick, it's a slang word for a girl, like maybe chicken, maybe chicana, I don't know, but basically like a girl. So flick, it's the other name for movie, so it's like a girl's movie. So would you call it a girl's movie melodrama, or do you think it's like universal and can also be good for men also?
Probably it's not for everyone. Probably it's for girls. Mostly looks like.
Why is it mostly for girls?
Because there are some cases that are a bit out of logic that shouldn't, in general, wouldn't happen unless some luck or unless some like as an latest example, like a flaw and the short book in the phone notebook it's not book in the floor. It should not expect that it looked like she specially knocked the floor, and then she found that not book he saved from the train.
Not notebook, the book, Persuasion. For me, it didn't sound like she specially knocked on that. It looked like she was walking in her flat, and then there was this sound, and she noticed the sound under her feet. That's why she started to look for the loose floorboards. Well,
He
of course,
knocked
the
in a
subject.
special place, and looks like she do some actions in the special place of the floor. Like she know where there is a hole or there is something like this.
Okay, I see your point. What about you girls? Do you think it's a girls' movie or a chick flick or not a chick flick?
I think it's a girls' movie more.
It's a girls' movie. Why do you think so?
Maybe men like more action fantasy.
Uh-huh. So basically, if it's a romance, любовная история, if it's a romance, then it's not for men. Something like that, yeah?
Men often doesn't like.
Don't like. I mean,
like.
it's true, yes. They would probably prefer something else instead of a romance film. Okay, what about the other ones? Igor, Natasha, what do you think?
Well, I rather think that this is a chick flick movie because there is no much action, and I think that men prefer actions. And the whole line is actually they are thinking, they are writing, like in the 19th century. And actually, this is the point where this is the strong side of the woman, the psychology, because so they think too much about everything, about the relationships. When a man prefer just to build them, the relationships, they prefer to think about how
Yeah,
and
overthinking, yes? Overthinking.
Yes.
Okay,
Yes.
okay.
But I think this can be a family film even. Just
Okay,
like
Igor, what do you think?
I don't think that it's a special film for women because I like it and I hope it not depends about my view about gender or other things. I think that we can everybody can watch it, and men and women, and if both of us can have a good feeling, a good expression after them. Why we have to different or choose what kind of film for women or for men. I think that many women can watch activity films with, I don't know, Pierce Brosnan and other strong men, and notice that it's really cool film because many muscles and many interesting muscles in this film. So I think we cannot, for my opinion, we cannot separate some films. This for women or this for men.
Okay, thank you. Now the next my question is because sometimes one movie reminds us of another movie, нагадує нам, напоминает нам о каком-то другом фильме. So does this movie remind you of anything else or any events in your life or some other movie? Did it make you think of something else?
A new film. This film reminded me new film last Christmas.
Last Christmas? I think I know which. Why? What was the reason?
Girl live in flat where man was died.
When a man died,
and she told with him. She walked with him. And after that,
Found out.
Understood.
Snella, found out.
Mhm. Yes, found out that this man was dead.
Was dead, that he died. Yeah, so basically the common thing is that they're both romances, and that there is a bit of fantasy, something unrealistic there. Yes. Any other things that this film reminds you of? I mean, if it does. If it's not, then
I remind a film about how death go to planet in body of Brad Pitt.
I haven't seen this movie. You have to give me a link.
Brad Pitt play in this drama with Anthony Hopkins with one beautiful girl, and he was in.
Meet Joe Black. Yes, Meet Joe Black.
Yes, Joe Black.
Yes.
Joe Black.
But I didn't
It's.
know that.
I really like this film, and with my wife we sometimes rewatching
Yeah.
it.
It's a cool film. It also has a bit of fantasy in it,
Fantasy,
right?
yes,
Something
yes.
imaginary, something not realistic. Yes, but it also makes you think about stuff. For me, it looked a little bit about. It reminded me of another movie which is called Time Traveler's Wife. So like the wife of a time traveler, which I watched only recently, although it's not a new film, but I only watched it recently. And again, there was a bit of unrealistic sort of moments there, and it also was a romance. That's why it made me think about that. Does this movie remind? Did it remind you of anything, Vova, Volodymyr?
Yes, there were some case in my schoolship, like one similar case, but it just it just passed in a past in a past in a past. There was something like the dance when the man was not so not so confident in his not so mind has some not pretty things in his behavior, and
So what's the name of the film? I'm sorry. What's the title?
I'm talking about this film. I just
No, I'm asking, what does this film remind you of?
yes,
What other?
in this film. About film, I thought about the things that happened in real life. About film, mm, I don't know which film it is reminding because usually I don't look type of this type of films.
You don't watch romances, I see.
Yes, I thought about real life case. There were one in past in school. Looks like.
Okay. Okay, let's continue with the other questions. So the next one was, just a second. Which of the posters did you find most appealing and appropriate? There were three main posters online, at least the ones that I have found. I can share my screen to show you these posters again. Just a second. So here they are, the first, the second, and the third. Can you see them or not?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so which of these posters did you like personally, you? For example, I liked number 2 and number 3 approximately equally. I can explain why, but I want you to speak. So which ones did you like?
I don't like any of them. When I receive your mail, I think what the strict some film I don't watch it anywhere, anybody, anytime. And on this picture, I cannot understood what about this film, and I don't have an interest to watch this film. And if you not ask me to watch it and don't send, invite me on this meeting, I don't watch it any time. So I don't like
any of the posters.
Any of the posters, and all of them are weird and ununderstandable for me.
Okay, thank you. Luda, what about you?
Maybe first picture.
the third? Why? Why the
Uh,
third one?
Because this two part. Светлое, темное. Maybe I think this two words.
Mm-hmm. These ones, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I like the second one because it sort of reminds me of letters, because it looks like a letter with a coffee stain, and also that there is a picture here of the house. Of course, it's difficult if you haven't seen the film. It's difficult to understand what it is. That's why it's probably not the best possible poster. But I like that it looks like a letter. And this one, I like how the characters look, because here I don't like how they look. Here I like it more. Natasha, what about you?
Well, I agree with you. My favorite is number 3. In this
Mhm.
poster, they are not divided. In the poster number 1, they are divided. They are not just like separated. They are not together. But
Yeah.
in number 3, just the whole scenario of the film is understandable.
Yes, I mean,
This is
not the whole,
progress.
not all of it, but the main idea. Yes, that's right.
The main
Okay,
idea, yes.
thank you. Wova, do you have anything to say here, or should we move to the next question?
This is the third picture. This is most clear according to this film, because second is not clearly shows that it is even that it is a house. First,
Yeah, it looks weird. Yeah.
first is has no information. No, it looks like there was the lake house and two persons just without any meaning. What how do they related the one to each other? What other persons without any things that could relate. So sure.
Okay. Thank you. I stop sharing and we move on to the next one. So somebody said that there is no science behind this story, that it's impossible to communicate with 2 years gap. It's stuff like that. There is no theory that explains this. So what do you think about science in movies? Is it always important to have, strong theoretical base, сильная теоретическая база, or is it sometimes okay just to imagine a situation and, run with it?
About scientific films, they should either have a strong base, either have some theories that they can prove. Would be good if they say there is such a theory, we have such evidences, and we think that this may take a place. If it has a good background, it's very good. But if they just manipulate, it's not the thing.
Okay, Natasha, what about you? What do you think? Did you keep thinking, but it's impossible to communicate?
Actually, yes, I see the point. Actually, I think there are science films and there are fiction films, and they just got another function. They are for us to relax and to идти за своим воображением, just to follow our
your imagination. Yes, exactly.
And the imagination of the director of the film, режиссер, director of the film.
Yeah, director. Okay. You guys, what do you think?
I think that it can be happened because I believe in and I want to believe that it can be happened. So I think that it can be alive, and not only science can rule
explains things like that. Yes.
Yes. I like books. I like fiction. I like thinking that Harry Potter and the Lord of the Rings is a real person in some worlds in this not our planet, but maybe other one.
Okay. And I also, sometimes, especially if the film has a genre science fiction, not fantasy, but science fiction, in that case, sometimes it's important, the theory behind, because otherwise it doesn't make sense. But in this case, I think the main point was the love story, the romance, and there was a little bit of fantasy. So for me, it didn't bother me. Не беспокоило меня. It didn't bother me to think, like, why is this happening? How is it possible? I was so worried that they would be together that everything else was not important. Okay, somebody raised their hand. Okay, I don't know who. Volodymyr, did you want to say something?
No.
Okay.
Probably
You probably
click.
clicked by accident. Not a problem. Don't worry about it. Okay, and the next question. What did you think about some specific maybe settings, это декорации, обстановка, or language and dialogue, maybe some interesting cool phrases, or maybe the soundtrack, the elements of the film that make it interesting or special. Did you have any, like particular moments that you liked? Sorry, Igor, your phone is disconnected.
Sorry, I don't notice any special moments because I watched it in English whole film at first, and I don't understood every in clear and really close. But I like this house that
Yes.
was filmed,
Yes.
and it's some feeling that you watch and try to be here in this house on the lake and try to drink a cup of coffee on this terrace or woke up under the tree and glasses around you and you on the lake. I think it was a really interesting idea for this film. And I don't want in English to understand the situation in this sense.
You don't want to?
It's like feeling. You watched it, you hear something, and you don't want to any language to understood that it's interesting place, it is interesting idea, and I want to be here in this, and I watch to see this house alive.
So it's more about the feeling, not about the logic, something like that, yeah?
Yes. It's this film not about logic, not about science. You can watch it. You can try to
enjoy it.
Либо веришь.
Either you believe it or not.
Or,
yes.
If you believe it, you interested in it. But actually, yes, it's maybe a drama for family watching at Saturday evening, not morning.
Okay, Luda, what about you?
I like this place too. About lake. Maybe because there are beautiful nature. It's unusual house on the lake. I think it's a beautiful place for a lake.
As far as I know, this house was built especially for the movie. So this house didn't exist. I mean, it doesn't exist in real life. They specifically built it for the movie, with the tree and everything. The porch and terrace and this dog paws prints, etc. Yes. Natasha, did you like any, like soundtracks or settings or I don't know, the language, anything like that?
Well, the same actually. I liked the house on the lake most of all, and I liked the dialogue between the main character and his brother when they were there together, and he said that there is no link with the outer nature. Because house is like, as far as I understood, as a fortress, and you are isolated in this house. You seem to be isolated from the outside, from the outside nature. And the other thing I liked was actually uh, to be connected, the connection between people. It's like he said the house was not connected, and then the question was sometimes it is possible to be physically with a person but you are not connected to him or to her, and sometimes and this is the gap of 2 years, and they are very close connected with each other, the feelings.
I actually had the same kind of remark. I'm going to share my screen again for a bit, because these are my notes, my favorite places in the movie. Just a second. So my picks, the first scene or the first kind of thing that I liked was about the trouble of doing something. So she asked him, do you remember the place where he showed her Chicago? He, on the map showed her the places and even drew something on the wall. So she asked him, why did you go into all this trouble of preparing this? And it's like, for me, it's one of those things that shows that the relationship is great and people are sort of care about each other is when you go into trouble of doing something for somebody else. So that was one of the things. And then there were some other things that they did for each other, but this one was the most noticeable one, the first one. Then, like Igor mentioned, the difference between house and home, and their conversation, like Natasha mentioned, two brothers were talking about their father, and several quotes there. So, Dad knew how to build a house, not a home. And there is this difference, the father was an architect, so he knew how to build a house, the building, but not create a home where everybody was connected. And the other thing he said, this house is about ownership, not connection. Own, it's like владеть, ownership, владение, when you own a house or when you own a person, but are not connected with a person. So I like these two things they said about the house or the place or the home. And also my favorite scene was not even the end of the movie, but the middle of the movie, when they first met, I mean, physically saw each other, they saw each other earlier, when they met at the party, and there was this music playing, Paul McCartney, and they danced and they kissed for the first time. This was my favorite kind of thing in the movie. What about who hasn't spoken yet? I think it was Vova. What about you?
About house home, I don't really understand why they doubt, because just a place, just a good home. They are permanently writing letters here via post, and they are in one of them permanently living there. So I don't know why there were a problem for something about the house. About other moments.
What was your favorite moment? Don't talk about my favorite moments. Talk about your favorite moment or element. Did you like anything about the movie?
I cannot remember exactly.
You saw it a long time ago, probably. Okay. I mean, that's not a problem.
I remember the film. I don't remember quite a moment that will be some way special.
Tanya, can you explain trouble of? I don't understand it clear.
Okay, maybe, I mean, it's my kind of thinking. Maybe it's not important, but when the first time when they sort of started interacting, or I think this is the moment when they started a relationship, not just writing letters like neighbors, but like when they started to fall in love with each other, is when he said, let me take you on a tour of Chicago.
Yes,
and
yes.
He marked everything on the map and
Yes,
told
I
her where
remember
to.
it.
And in the end, he even left some kind of message on the big wall,
Yes.
like graffiti.
We
Remember?
walk together.
together. Yeah, it was like walking together. Although they were separated by time and place, they still sort of like he created this moment. It didn't happen just they waited and it happened. It didn't happen. He created it, and he went into trouble. То есть он как бы it's difficult even to say in Russian. So he made a conscious effort to do something for her, not just waited or like let it be, but he did something. He made an effort. He created.
Remember
this
the tree. I'm sorry to interrupt you. Remember the tree when she said,
yeah.
"I miss those trees," and then she just planted a tree, and she saw.
Yes. Good moment. And she walked by rain, and in one moment, tree is I don't know,
just appeared. Yes.
Also,
I think she dropped something, and then she picked up her keys, and the tree was there. It was like magic, right?
Magic for her, but not magic for him, because for her it's in this moment, but for him it's 2 years after this moment.
What about? Did she do anything for him? Do you remember any things that she did for him?
She did nothing.
There is some strange moment in the film that it looks like that does not have a mobile phone, mobile connection, that he could not tell that he is in trouble. He cannot go right now. Please postpone the meeting and so on.
She helped him. No.
One time I remember she offered her help. Do you remember when his father died?
Yes.
And she said, you were always there for me. I want to be a shoulder for you, or I want to help you right now. I'm not sure he used that shoulder, but she was always happy to help him, and she was always ready to do something for him. Just a little bit more difficult because of the difference in time. Any other things that you wanted to talk about? Some moments in the film?
I said, don't know if it was listened about a phone connection, about a strange case in a bar or restaurant where they went. He could not warn.
So what about the connection? You mentioned it, everybody heard that, but I couldn't understand why you're mentioning it.
She invited it to the restaurant, and he invited, and he did not come. And he could not phone and call and say that I cannot come today.
Of course he couldn't, because he was dead at that moment.
Okay, I misunderstand something in the film.
Well, maybe I misunderstood something, but he couldn't come to the date because he was dead. 2 years later, at that very moment, he was already dead. That's why he was
absent. Wait, he invited us, and I missing the scene about his father. I saw the scene about his. I saw the only brother said, but I did not get that he. I misunderstood maybe something also.
Yeah, probably you did. Because the chronology is very weird in the movie, and especially the end is different. I mean, it finished differently eventually. So sometimes you have to be careful to what is happening and when it is happening. So yes, that's why he didn't show up at their first date in the restaurant. That was the reason. Okay, one more question that I wanted to ask you, because it's about what critics said, some critics, not all critics. So I'm going to share my screen because it's easier to read, I guess, to understand what... I promise it's going to be one of the last ones. So some critics claim that little chemistry is developed between the two lovebirds. Do you know the expression like chemistry between lovers? Mm-hmm. So like little means almost nothing. It's not a little, it's little. Without the article, it means practically no chemistry is developed between the two lovebirds. The story fails to reveal why they are so taken by one another. So do you agree or disagree that there is no chemistry and it's not clear why they love each other?
Can you explain what does it mean? The story fails.
Uh-huh.
I don't.
To reveal, to show. The story fails to show why they are so taken by one another. The story doesn't show why they love each other. Do you agree that the story doesn't show why they love each other?
Agree because we don't know. We all of us want to have a questions how they cross 2 years between each other, and why they love each other. I don't know because they write letters, and
Uh-huh.
maybe this letters show this person for each other. I don't know. But
Okay, okay.
if you have a good feeling after this film, I don't understood why I have to thinking about why they love each other. Maybe after 2 days they don't love each other and separate it and say goodbye. But period between it, I have a good feeling. Thank you, goodbye. Thank you for Derek. Thank you for Tanya for this film.
It's not even about why they love each other. It's how the director or the people who created the film, how they made us believe that these people were meant for each other. Because usually, like people kiss, people hold each other, and that's how we believe that they love each other. But in this movie, they kissed only twice, in the middle of the movie once, and at the end of the movie once,
And no
and
sex
everything
sense. I don't know. It's a bad film without.
without sex scenes.
I don't. I don't know why we think that they live each other without sex.
So it doesn't really
Bad
matter.
film. Bad film. Bad film.
So it's like somebody mentioned today that it's like in the 19th century when people wrote the letters, and that's how they fell in love with each other, right? So built a relationship based on letters, and I totally agree that it's possible, but some people, I guess, critics disagree. Girls, do you have any other opinions about that?
Уже спасибо. Ага, хорошо. Там Варюш, ой, на
Luda?
Сочи, где мама передала.
What do you think about the characters' chemistry? How characters believable as lovers?
You ask me?
Any of you, Luda or Natasha?
I think these people have similar interesting, and them were interesting tell with each other.
To talk with each other via the email, not emails, letters. Okay. What about you?
Well, I believe I disagree that there is little chemistry. I think there is a development of their feelings to each other through the whole film. And their life is not loud. Their love is not loud. It is quiet, but it doesn't mean that it is not. It doesn't exist, or it is how to say.
Weak.
They don't shout about their feelings, but they do some actions, and especially at the end, I would say this is like crescendo, because at the end they reveal their feelings, and she wrote that she loved him, and put it in the box, in the post box. So for me, it's enough chemistry.
Okay. Thank you so much. Any more opinions about that? If no, then
bad film.
Bad film. No sex scenes. Bad feelings. Okay. I think we can wrap up a little bit right now. So I would like you to share if you liked today's hangout, or how it can be improved, or would you recommend it to anyone?
Is it possible to give the name of the film just today, the next film?
That's what we are going to discuss, because I was going to ask you what we are going to watch next. Because of course I can decide myself what we are going to watch, but I'm not sure if all of you would like that film or not. So it's either we decide together, or you just trust me and we watch something that I decide.
You decide. I like
You decide.
your choice.
Okay. I have several ideas. One of them is a comedy. Another one is a drama, historical
Comedy.
drama.
Comedy.
Comedy.
Okay, comedy. Okay. The name of the film is all of you have probably seen it. It's called Mrs. Doubtfire.
Okay. Yes.
You know it, right? You've seen it.
Yes,
So
I can watch it in English too, because I watched it in Russian several times.
yeah, it's one of my favorite comedies as well. I'm not sure how we're going to discuss it, because there are some things like discussable things, but usually I just watch it without thinking or without discussions, just because it's fun. But I still think that there can be some things that we can discuss.
Can you share for us video with subtitles, which I can watch it on my phone? Because this film I watched without subtitles, because I want to download it, and I download it, and it cannot be run on my
No,
phone.
Igor, unfortunately, I cannot give you. I'm not supposed to give you even that link, because it's like piracy. Legally, I should not do that.
Okay.
I do it because we have a very small group of people, and I don't think anybody would tell anybody, to the police or something. But like officially, you are supposed to watch it somewhere legal, like Netflix or Google Play or something like that, and then we come and discuss it. I can probably share it with you with a subtitle, but I'm not sure. I don't know how it works on the phone, so
Okay, not problem.
I just have this option.
I fix it.
Okay, and girls, do you have any objection to the movie that we have selected, Mrs. Doubtfire?
No objection, but put down the name.
Okay, I will put it in the chat, and also I will send you the name in the email. So, Mrs. Doubtfire. It's a funny comedy.
Maybe some of us watched about duplex, some old person who live upstairs of a young family.
Okay. The first thing I need to tell you at once is that I am not a fan of comedies in general. I love some comedies, but only selected ones. And we wouldn't be only watching comedies. So I tell you this at once. So this is one of those.
But we have 5 membership of our class, so we can maybe have
So
a
you
decision.
Now you
Make a decision, not because you don't like comedy.
So that's what I was asking at the beginning. Either you pick up the movie and you watch it together, and then we discuss it, or I pick it up.
Okay. So you pick up.
Okay.
Okay.
Why I don't? I can explain why I don't like particularly like comedies as a topic for hangouts. Is because sometimes there is nothing to discuss. You just watch it and you laugh at it. And there are no, controversial issues, суперечливі питання to discuss. Usually these kind of things can be discussed after watching historical films or dramas or, some social issues, stuff like that, but usually not after comedies. With comedies, you just watch it and laugh and eat pizza and then forget about the movie, like laughed and forgot. That's why comedies are problematic for hangouts.
You have more experience in this.
Yes, I have a little bit more, talking about movies. Not just movies themselves.
I don't think about it.
Can you tell me what you brought out or what you took from today's hangout? Что вы для себя взяли? In English or in Russian? It doesn't really matter at this moment. Nothing? So it was a total waste of time.
I noticed that English not can be so difficult, and I can share my practice and knowing with other. It's not really страшно,
Scary.
scary. It's not scary.
Okay.
Refresh my vocabulary about films and cinemas. Just
Okay.
some words.
Okay. Luda, was it useful for you?
I try to understand other people.
You don't?
I don't.
You do
I
understand. Okay,
understand.
that's good. Okay, great. Vova?
Probably would like just a discussion, maybe some clarifying a moment about film, and some inner side inner side classes that just related to discussion.
What do you mean inner side classes?
Something like a small development of English and so on.
So just like speaking practice, something like that?
Some small improvement,
Mm-hmm.
like some small improvement.
Okay. So what you can do about the film next, if you want to, I mean, it's totally up to you. I'm going to share my screen again a little bit. So the first thing you can do, again, to improve a little bit your vocabulary or just for fun, is to take a quiz, a trivia quiz, like some facts about the movie. It was pretty fun. I didn't do 100%. I had a result of about 75 or something. So some questions about what you remember about the movie. It's in English. Also, you can use vocabulary checklist. So when you watch a movie in English, you can write down some phrases that you catch, watch and catch. And then you can check if you just passively remember this phrase from the movie, or if you are using this phrase in your own speech. So this is one thing that you can do. So also you asked me about what you can, how you can make sure to remember some vocabulary from the movie. So basically what you need to do is active listening. Usually it means some particular activities like dictations, like retelling. So it takes some effort, like you have to go into trouble of doing something after the movie, because just watching the movie is not very useful. I mean, it can be useful eventually after a long time when you do it regularly all the time. But just watching the movie and expecting your English to become better just at once doesn't usually work like that. So if you're interested in more language practice with movies with me, you can let me know. Just write me back, and we'll organize some kind of activity, mastermind, classes, whatever, to improve your English using movies. So that will be all for now. I will send you the slides from today's class with the questions and these links. Also, I will send you the link, not the link, maybe the link also, the name of the next movie, this comedy, Mrs. Doubtfire, and the date. I think it will be in 2 weeks, not next week, but in 2 weeks, so that you have more time to watch the movie, like in English or in Russian or in any language you want. And maybe you will come up with some interesting questions that you want to ask other students, other people. So it would be fun too. Okay, thank you so much for showing up today in the morning of Saturday. I really appreciate you being here, and I hope you will come to the next one.
Thank you.
Have a nice Saturday. Thank you so much. Bye.
The same to you.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Bye.